Film fans of YouTube, hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh, your movie apprentice, and today I am looking at The Exorcist II: The Heretic, directed by John Boorman and starring Richard Burton, Linda Blair, and Kitty Wynn. And this film, you all warned me. In my review of The Exorcist, you warned me. You said avoid this one and just go to the third one. You said it, but thanks to a couple of commenters, I had to try. I had to have a look at this, see what is so bad about The Exorcist 2, and it's bad. It's terrible. Regan, now all grown up, is attending a therapy session weekly to deal with the trauma of the first movie, and we also have another priest that is being sent to investigate the death of Father Merrin, and notice how it's just Father Merrin that is investigating. Father Karras is just sat there in the afterlife saying, me, right? He is not mentioned once in this film by name or by reference. There are several moments where they mention, like, Father Merrin was the only one there, the only one that risked his life for Regan, the only one that gave his life for Regan, and it is just a sad thing considering the sacrifice of Father Karras in that first movie, and the fact that the whole film basically devalues the first one. This was intended to be a cheap additional movie to The Exorcist that was trying to be completely different from The Exorcist. It gave me, well, it tried to give me Omen vibes from what I was seeing when I was watching this, especially the way it was laid out. But the fact that the Demon Pazuzu is still within Regan, despite the sacrifice at the end of the first movie, that is just one of those things where you really can't forgive it. Let's not even talk about how cheap this movie looks. The cinematography in this is nonsensical. The editing is all over the place. Everything looks grainy as hell. Pacing wise, this film has no pacing. There is an entire sequence in the middle part where the father goes to another country that just feels needless. There's this weird connection that Regan and the father have with each other that makes little to no sense. It is very, very difficult to follow. And let's not even talk about the locust. The Demon Pazuzu is represented in a lot of this film by a locust, and this locust is some of the worst green screen I have ever seen. It is truly abysmal, and I'm quite saddened with Linda Blair in this. There is the original actor that did one of the best child performances I have ever seen, and in this one, Linda Blair is just so wooden as Regan. Every other actor is as well, pretty much. They go from wooden to I need to emote, so I'm going to scream at the camera. That's where a lot of the range of these performances come down to. There is no personality from any of these characters. With the first one, you take the whole movie to build up these different characters. The girl going from this happy-go-lucky child to an absolute monster. You have the mother who's having to deal with this and knowing in her heart that her daughter is not sick, there is something else wrong with her, and she has to swallow her pride as an actress to go get these witch doctors to exorcise her. You have a father that is questioning his faith, but him growing attached to the family makes him want to believe again. And obviously you have Father Merrin, who is revealed to have done an exorcist in the past, and it's him answering his final calling from God. These characters in the first one have all different motivations that are all very clearly laid out in front of us. And in this one, there is no real motivations in this. There really isn't. The main priest in this is apparently a father of Father Merrin's teachings that has tried exorcisms before. Let's not even talk about the fact that in the first one it was established that Father Merrin was the only person to have tried an exorcism in the last century. We're just going to ignore that line of dialogue, aren't we? And just go with this character. It's just all nonsensical garbage, and there is nothing scary about this. You go from this tense movie that is terrifying in its final act to this. This is... wow. Imagine if Alien 1 went straight to Alien 3, but then make Alien 3 10 times worse. And that is the disparity between these two films here. I just don't think there was anything I liked in this. I actually don't. And this is a very rare thing for me. I can't think of anything. There is a 3-act structure, I guess. There's a script. And that I can't, guys. I really can't. And let's just talk about some little nitpicks of mine. For one, there's a setting in an apartment with a balcony that has gaps in the apartment. And I'm thinking, what architect designed this building? This has to be a set design. My biggest takeaway from this was going and researching this movie afterwards to find out what went so wrong. And finding out that that terrible balcony with the gaps that drop straight down to the street below, that's a real apartment building. And Linda Blair really stood on the edge of that and had a great risk of falling to her death. Like, balls for Linda Blair on that one. And that's the only thing that's going to keep this from the lowest grading is the absolute balls they took for that. But still, that whole sequence felt like a bit of a green screen. And it was supposed to be real life. And then you also have the therapist building where all rooms are surrounded by glass windows that everyone can look into. It's just glass windows upon glass windows upon glass windows. Is there anything redeemable about this movie? No, there really isn't. This is oh my god, I was coming into this thinking, maybe there's something in this that I can see that other people have seen that made them enjoy it, and it's not actually one of the worst films ever made. But no, this is easily one of the worst horror sequels ever made, if not the worst. It is nonsensical. The character motivations make no sense. The way they treat some of the returning cast members is absolutely criminal. It's quite difficult to follow. The acting is so wooden that whenever a character seems to get possessed, they really don't seem any different than their normal selves. How do you cash in on such a great movie and proceed to take a dump all over it? That's what this film felt like. Before I get into my grade, if you do enjoy what I do on this channel, if you're a movie fan like me, consider clicking the like button, subscribing to the channel for more reviews like this coming all the time, and let me know what you thought of The Exorcist 2. Are you one of those people that think there's something redeemable about it? Please let me know in the comments. I would love to have a discussion with you about it. But for me, The Exorcist 2, if it wasn't for finding out that Linda Blair literally stood on the edge of a building that had a great risk of death that would not even be done in this day and age, this would have got my lowest grade. But as it stands, it's got some shots, it's got a script, and it got some returning characters back, even though it basically craps on everything the characters ever stood for. I'm going to have to say that The Exorcist 2, The Heretic, for me, is just a teabag. So, The Exorcist 2, The Heretic, have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you thought down in the comments below, guys and gals and non-binary pals. And just subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this coming all the time. Coming up on the channel, we have a few of the screeners, including a little film called Come True, which I'm interested to talk about. There's also I Care A Lot that came out last weekend, which I'll get a review of out now because I have things to say. And we are getting the Studio Ghibli ranking this week. I wasn't able to do it last week because of some personal issues, so apologies for that. But we are getting that done this week at some point. But until next time, my name is Josh. I have been your Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you next video.